Are you?
Finally getting better over whatever plague that was. I feel like whatever I had is going to be in the news in a couple months because it's going to be a spread thing, and I will
COVID,
face
COVID,
zero.
COVID 22.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my gosh, it's just miserable.
I'm sorry.
So miserable.
Well,
When do you
we're
leave for your next trip?
huh?
When do you leave for your next trip? Because I feel like you and I are going to be doing this like passing.
I leave for London in 30 days.
Okay,
30
that's.
days. I'm excited to be doing a flying Virgin Atlantic across the pond.
I'm glad I
So
convinced you to try that.
yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm doing the ABBA show. And there's another musical I'll be seeing on the West End as well. You'll probably never guess what it is, but I'm
SpongeBob the
excited.
musical.
SpongeBob. No, it's Back to the Future, the musical.
Mean Girls.
Mean Girl. Yeah, so yeah, 30 days, and then I'm home for a week, and then off to Rome. Well,
But I'm gonna be there right after you leave there.
right, right.
I have Disney Dream next weekend. And then work trip. I have to go back to Florida for a wedding. And then I'm doing one of those things that you and I have done. My November's crazy. It's like I'll come home the 10th of November from Rome and leave the 19th to go to Frankfurt. Those things that you and I do, where then we look at it and we're like, oh my
It's always my October, November. Like I'm home for a week, Rome, 2 week cruise home. Then I'm home for 3 nights. I think
well, that
Florida.
lake is just a wonderful time to be in Europe. It's not as hot.
I agree. I agree.
It's just it's just
I agree.
lovely.
I agree.
Just
Well, it is.
remember commenting from Facebook, add your name to it because we've got like 4 comments from Facebook in here. Um, Janine did it. Make sure you put the dash with your name because unless you're on YouTube or the restream, we won't see your name.
Yeah. Well, guys, it is 10 o'clock or 10:01 Central Time, 11 a.m. in God's time. So let's get started. Well, guys, this is Today in Travel. We bring you all the news, credit card hacks, hotel points, cruise news. I don't think we're actually talking about Delta today, shockingly.
I know
So
Jar's probably like, thank God.
yeah, with some airline news. But yeah, so we bring you all the news, guys. I'm Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners. And this is really just a behind the scenes look of my bestie and I, what we talk about all the time off
All
the
the
camera. Haley, how are you this morning?
way.
Introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Haley. If you don't by chance know me, I am the owner of Hospitality with a Flair, which is a hotel sales support company, and I travel blog, make lots of travel content of all forms. And yeah, this is just pretty much what Jason and I do all
That's what
day.
we
We
do.
just decide to record it.
Why don't we just turn on the camera for like 20 or 30 minutes once a week and talk about what we do
You know, we
off?
should just have that. Have a Discord server that's just live.
We should.
All
I think that'd be funny. All right. Well, we have some interesting things to talk about today. Let's start with something that I have seen firsthand. Haley, I know you have seen firsthand. Holiday airfare is going to be expensive. So if you know, Haley and I have talked about a lot about how like airports are packed. There's long lines. The demand to travel is there again. Um, and look, because of it, the airlines are raising the prices. So we're going to see some of the most expensive holiday flights, and by holiday we're saying Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year, possibly ever. Like we could be breaking records for holiday airfare. We're seeing this also in the hotel world.
yeah.
We're seeing it in cruising. I mean, some of the prices of cruising are, I feel victimized sometimes when I look at hotel prices and flight prices.
It,
So,
it's rough right now. Like when I booked London for Christmas this year. Now, keep in mind with these holidays, if you fly on the actual holiday, you can save
right.
bit of money. Like I am flying on Christmas Day.
Right. So instead of being there, right.
And also, Christmas Eve can be fairly cheap too. So bear that in mind if you are looking. But I mean, as of right now, I am paying at normal hotel-ish prices. None of my friends and family hoopla is available in London, and it is expensive. Like the cheapest hotel that I have on hold, because I have a couple on hold because I keep searching, is outside of city center London for 185 in British pounds a night.
Yeah. Someone asked me the other day, so they were booking a hotel and they were asking me, should you book refundable or non-refundable?
Oh,
And yeah, so guys, so this is the trick that Haley taught me, right? I used to always be in the non-refundable camp. Hey, it's a lower rate. I know I'm going. Why would I book why wouldn't I book non-refundable? Well, Haley, our hotel guru, brought up a very good point. Book it refundable. It's usually not that much more. It's really not.
It's really not.
And you can easily cancel and rebook if the price goes down, or you find a property somewhere else, right? Like I have a hold on a property before a group cruise in December. I personally think this hotel is not worth what I booked it, but I booked it refundable just to hold it. And I'm kind of shopping around and maybe seeing if there's a better option out there. So I really, really recommend refundable. Make sure to read the terms and conditions when you can cancel by without a penalty. Haley, would you agree most of the time it's like 24, 48 hours before for refundable?
Yeah, 24, 48 hours. Some of your more premium brands are starting to do 48 hours.
Okay.
But also if it's during a certain time of year, they can put on special cancels. Like I've had hotels like in that Myrtle Beach area have a 2-week cancel. So
do they ever take away the refundable rates during peak periods?
Yeah, they can close out advance purchase.
Okay.
That's not too uncommon, but the thing with advance purchase too is it's guaranteed money. So it truly depends on what it is. And the other part of that is if you're going somewhere. So part of the reason I got that cheaper 185 rate is because I'm going for a week. So if you look at like Marriott.com, we'll just say searching London right now, click into those because the rate that it's showing you is an average nightly rate without promo sometimes. So then when I clicked over to like deals and packages, they had a stay more rate, which was 20% off. So
Gotcha.
don't always
Okay.
judge that first number. Always kind of click through, especially on Marriott's site, to see that.
Well, sticking with hotels, we have some Hyatt news today. So if you have the Hyatt business card, they are now offering double elite nights for all of your stays. And the Hyatt business card is a really great card if you are traveling or in hotels a lot and you have employees that travel. So everybody that has a Hyatt business card and all the employees that have it, you automatically get Discover status. So that's just their it's a great status. Has some great perks with it. I mean, it's not as good as the Globalist, of course, but it's a great status with Hyatt. Lots of perks. So if you are booking hotels for your employees, check your Hyatt business card. There's a lot of good perks and stuff now. All right. Now, this is a topic Haley and I have discussed at length. So, Japan was like, we're open.
Sort of.
Right. If you, wear a mask everywhere, be vaccinated, have to do a COVID test, have to book it as a tour, quarantine in your hotel in the night, can't leave, explore on your own. And very few people were coming. And Japan was like, what's going on? We're open. Why aren't people coming back to our country? So they've had some pressure and they are easing some of the requirements into the country. So you have to still be vaccinated into the country. So it's if you can provide you're vaccinated, there's no need to do a PCR test before you go. They are increasing the number of visitors from 20,000 to 50,000 a day. But you still have to book your tour or your stay through a travel agency. So they're slowly getting there. There are some in Japan who are still wanting them to go even further. Get rid of the cap at all, not do the 50,000 a day. Some are saying we don't want to book it with the travel agency. We want to just like fly to Tokyo, get a hotel and explore. So I'm glad it's heading in the right direction, but I really, really hope it continues to open up because I mean, like you, Haley, I really want to get to Asia. I've not been to Asia yet.
I know. I keep wondering what my first Asian country is going to be. I go back and forth with what I want to do first.
I know. So fingers crossed there. Okay, now this is a great question. Factors, or this is the question between Haley and me. What are your factors for buying and pricing insurance? Like, I know mine.
So for me,
what are yours?
I'm in this world, I'm buying it for almost anything at this point.
Okay.
Because I think, one of the times we've talked about this, I talked about how I've even bought it for domestic.
Mm-hmm.
And even, I didn't buy it for domestic when you and I went to New York.
Right.
A month or so ago.
I didn't either.
Because it was a day trip, but I mean,
in hindsight, I wish I had.
Yeah, but that's kind of where I'm at. Things are still so incessantly crazy that, by the time I pay $70, it's just peace of mind.
Yeah, so for my international trips, I don't care how much it is. I do not care. Like, I buy an Allianz policy. I literally do not care. Like, whatever number the quote is, I do not care. I purchase it. Like, and I don't do the yearly policy. We've discussed at length why I personally am not a yearly policy fan. This was my trips tend to be a little more expensive, and the max payout is kind of lower on some of the yearly policy plans. So, I do an individual policy per trip. So international, I do not care how much it is. I buy it every time. Domestic, I used to not. After our New York experience, it was great. I mean, look, in hindsight, I got to spend a night with you with the addition.
We had to spend the evening together. It was fine, but
then I spent another evening by myself. But I stayed at the W Times Square, saw a show on Broadway, had the same clothes on for days. It was still fun. It was still great. But it was still fun. But to your point, if I had spent $70, I mean, I probably racked up between 2 hotel nights, all the lifts. I mean, maybe not quite $1,000, but I mean, it was $700-800, right? And just buying hotels and lifts and Broadway ticket, which I didn't have to do, of course. But so I'm starting to understand your buying travel insurance for domestic trips. I really am.
I don't trust anybody these days, even the airlines. Because I'm just at this point. I mean, and you kind of saw, like, I've had to deal with a lot of changes anyways between my employees traveling and this. Like, I just go right into, like, all right, let's fix this mode, let's just get it done. And I like the idea that if my flight is going awry, then I'm just like, you know what, screw this, I'm just going to book it on another airline, submit the receipt later, and go, and not wait in those nasty lines or be on the phone for hours trying to find something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, if you don't have status with an airline and there's a big nationwide or even a regional delays, you're going to be waiting a long time on the phone.
Even when we had our New York debacle, like, it was still a little bit of a wait. And what I ended up doing is I bought the flight that I wanted home.
Yep.
And I waited for them to come over and just in essence clear it, comp it, and readjust it because I wasn't going to lose out on that by sitting on hold.
Right. So
Not that it matters because that canceled too, and I ended up grabbing a car and driving upstate. So
I remember woke up and you're like, I'm gone. My flight got canceled. It's like, what? Well, bye.
bye.
You were already gone. You were already gone.
I go into like mode, like let's get it done.
I like it.
I'm good. I'm good in a crisis.
I like it. Now for international, you buy it no matter what too, right?
Oh, 100%. Like I will be buying it for all my employees for Rome. I will be buying it for Jeff and I for Frankfurt. I'll be buying it for the three of us for London.
You have to. You just cannot leave the country without travel insurance. Like period.
Well, I mean, it came in handy when I did my first true Europe land trip to Paris.
I remember
my first Europe trip that I'd already been.
I remember
my first Paris trip because I got sick.
I remember.
And I got all my money back. My phone was stolen. Like, got my money back. That in itself just sold the deal. So I just, save your bottles and cans and put that towards your travel insurance because that pays for itself.
I agree. So our travel tip of the day is something I have never done. I've never done this. I don't know that I should I be doing this?
Do you not remember me doing this when we were in Hawaii?
Yeah, and I thought you were being neurotic. But what is the travel tip of the day?
It's how to check for bed bugs in your hotel or even cruise room.
Okay, so how do you check?
Well, it's checking where. So you always kind of want to check kind of like around curtains and stuff, like checking your seams around curtains. They can also be in the couches in rooms, so kind of like peeking through, checking seams on there. Ideally, you want to check with the lights off with a flashlight because they're nocturnal. And then for the beds, which is the biggest area, you want to check headboards, especially if they're fabric headboards. Some of these bouge places and they're tufted headboards. But what you're going to do is you're going to get down, you're going to take the sheets and stuff off the corners, especially. The corners are like their favorites. And where those seams are is where you're going to want to lift and look underneath with a flashlight. Just kind of like this, going around the seams. If there's a mattress pad, you're going to want to do the same thing around a mattress pad as well. So there's a big misconception that bed bugs are only in skeezy hotels, and that is not the case.
That was my next question, right? Like, if you're staying at nice hotels, do you still need to check for bed bugs?
100%. Because
you checked for bed bugs.
Bed bugs do not discriminate.
So you checked for them at the Edition, New York,
and the Park Hyatt.
And I just climbed into bed.
Yes. You just climbed into bed because they can happen anywhere. I've worked in full service hotels. I have friends that work full service. I had a college friend that worked for Ritz-Carlton, and you get bed bugs there because they're brought in by people.
So you check in your room and you see bed bugs.
Yep.
You go downstairs and tell the front desk. Then what happens?
So take a picture. Okay. And the other key bit to when you're checking too is I do not unpack a single freaking thing until I do that.
Okay. So
leave it by the door, not touching anything.
Okay. So you find the bed bug, you take the picture, you have an unpack, you go downstairs, show them the picture, show the front desk, then what?
So that it's going to depend on who owns the place. Like if you're at a decent hotel that's owned by decent people, they're going to possibly comp your stay, move you to the other side of the building. I would never take a room near that area because normally bed bug protocol, I've worked for hotels. Like I've worked for a Hilton hotel that had bed bugs twice while I worked there in a couple of years. You usually take a room on each side and top and bottom out of order, and then they'd go through 4 rounds of fumigation.
Okay, so what if the hotel is completely sold out? Like,
You're getting walked to another property. And here's the thing, these things are super small. Like you're talking, they can be like
so what if they like don't walk you? They don't do anything. What do you do then?
travel insurance. You're going to be, unfortunately, and for a lot of hurt, calling and trying to get your money back, finding a place to stay. Like we said, travel insurance is a big help. And a lot of people also make the mistake when they're calling like Hilton or Marriott about a bed bug situation. And just complaining to the brands, finding out which management company owns the individual franchise will actually go a lot further and directly handling it versus the brand. And another thing that you need to remember too is a hotel does have to do its due process. Like most hotel people are trained on what a bed bug looks like, but there are also bugs that look similar. Because especially if you think in like the hot summer months, like people having food in their rooms, bugs find ways. Like even nice hotels can find an ant in their room because food, etc. People wanting it.
Right.
The hotel still has to do its due diligence because there's people that say that there's bed bug in their room wanting to not pay for their room, usually after the stay.
Right.
So, there's that as well. But yeah, finding that plan B if they're not going to do anything for you, and then going the route of going through the brand and the management company for whomever owned it. Somebody was asking what if they find it on a sold out cruise. So I have been on sold out cruises and seen rooms magically appear. Like my wedding cruise was sold out, but they ended up giving my mother-in-law another room. So I think they always kind of have a couple kind of on hold because
they keep a handful of rooms just in case.
Because there's always, there can always be like a maintenance issue, a bed bug issue. And if you are in a room and you find bed bugs after you've been there, make sure you get some plastic like garbage bags, seal all your clothes in them because you're not going to want to bring them into your home when you get home.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, I guess I will start checking.
Are you over here going like this now?
I don't like this one bit. I don't like this one bit. But I mean,
some people like bring sprays with them now and kind of spray around their beds and things of that nature. But just remember, they can happen anywhere. They are very small. They can be missed. I worked for a really great GM, and this is something that I've always passed on, that incentivized the housekeeper. She's like, if you find a bed bug while you're cleaning a room, come get me, and I will hand you $50 cash, like right out of the drawer for the day. So, getting people to be more diligent because it happens. They're brought in by people. A lot of people are like, oh, this place is dirty. And it's like, people bring them in. Technically, you could also find them on an airplane too. Jason's like, oh my
God. I'm never leaving my home again. No, but this is great. I mean, it really is great. A great tip. I've never done this. This great tip. You have a video that I think is on TikTok and Instagram Reels talking about.
I do, and I didn't think it was like that big of a deal, but apparently it's me being very subjective. Me being very subjective.
Yes, I mean it is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was under the false assumption that if I'm at the Park Hyatt, I'm safe. But okay. Whew. Enough of the bug talk. Well, Haley, this was wonderful.
I know, it makes me always like itch after.
I'm gonna go take another shower. Maybe with some bug spray. I don't know. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Join our Facebook group, todayintravel.live. We have some people that are posting some great pictures. We have a couple members who are in Europe right now doing some crossings. We have some people who are in the fjords. I mean, we just have some great content going on right now. So Haley, until next time.
Bye, guys.